What's up, everybody? Well, today I thought I'd go ahead and bring you another vacuum in my vacuum collection. This time it's another Hoover. Here I bring you my Hoover Windtunnel Supreme. This is the rare, older black model, which most people are probably used to seeing this in that translucent blue, which I actually used to have one. I will link the video to that one in the description box below. There were some other versions of the Windtunnel Supreme that were translucent green, and then there was another that I think was maroon red. And then there was also the Windtunnel Deluxe, which had a little bit different style top hood. But realistically speaking, all of them are no different. Well, there were also some versions of the Windtunnel that came with a 13-inch cleaning width, which commonly they usually come with the big 15-inch like this. But anyway, how I got this is after having deep regrets in selling my blue Windtunnel Supreme. I've always wanted to have another one. Only I was originally after looking out for a Windtunnel Deluxe, which was the maroon one that I was talking about. I was especially looking for one that had the electronic bag check indicator that was built into the circuit board of the dirt finder, which you can get that in some of the translucent blue Elite Supremes, but they were a lot more common on the Deluxe model, the maroon, and there was even a translucent green color of the Windtunnel Deluxe. But either one was fine, but I definitely wanted another bagged Elite to add to my collection. I had the bagless ones before, and although they were okay machines, they never could compare to the bagged models. So now I got this one. So anyway, let's go walk through the machine. Being your typical traditional high-end Elite, it has the fingertip on-off switch. Very similar in design to the Hoover Elite, this power switch design. In fact, it's like the Elite. It's an old school slider switch, but it's a plastic rod that runs actually into where a main rocker switch is right here that runs down deep into the motor. Not too sure why Hoover did this. I'm guessing it was because it was to save wiring or something in production, or it could be to cut costs like they did with the Elite. But either way, here are your attachments up front here, your upholstery tool, crevice tool, and a very worn to hell, pardon my French, dusting brush. All covered up in this nice translucent door. Very similar to what you find on the Dimension back then. As we move down, we have genuine Hoover Type Y HEPA bag. You have your post motor filter right here. Still fairly new, so it's barely gotten broken in. So anyway, down here you do have your pre-motor filter, which honestly could use a little bit of a replacement. I think it just got a rock caught down in this little channel down here. All right, I'll go ahead and pick that up later. But anyway, this is what your pre-motor filter looks like. I'm gonna have to try finding a replacement for it. I'm just gonna put the little guard back down in place. Down here you do have your embedded dirt finder, which looking back, this feature honestly is kind of a gimmick, because realistically speaking, there's no way to test or to detect, excuse me, how much dirt is going into your vacuum or is getting picked up. Even though some vacuum companies, Hoover being one of them, is doing so hard to convince to customers that yes, it is picking up. Oh yeah, this switch right here is actually a sensitivity switch. You can switch it to high to move up the sensitivity, but I always like to leave it on regular. So anyway, right down here you have your Mach 3.3 lettering, which this is Hoover's third marketing technique, but aside from that total system performance, whatever number, and the higher one appeals to buyers. Then they went to the cleaning effectiveness per amp, which eventually they reverted back to doing with these wind tunnels. And then you have the Mach 3.3, which the higher end self-propelleds I know are Mach 6.9, but that is, again, another marketing technique by Hoover. You have your 5 carpet height selections right here. I like to leave it at the middle for the pile of this carpet. Just going to flip it down to show you the underside. This is its original brush roll, which what really surprised me is that this brush roll is actually a chevron brush roll. I don't know if this is original or if this was a replacement that does have some mileage on it by the previous owner. Then again, it could be the original, because no bristles would have worn down this fast if it was replaced recently. Could be original, but I just have a lot of questions, because this is a brush roll commonly seen on the wind tunnel canisters. I don't know if Hoover actually made their brush rolls like this, but then eventually reverted back to a chevron style to cut costs. But this is very unique. But because of the wear of the bristles, I am debating on whether or not I want to replace this, because the only replacements you can get for these are the Cleveland Wood Products brush rolls, and that was one I actually put in my blue Wind Tunnel Supreme, which they do work very good, but I honestly want to stick to an original because the CWP brush rolls are getting way too common now. They're definitely being sold on newer Hoover wind tunnels. Anyway, let's go ahead and move on the side here. We have right here is your model number, Hoover Cleaner model U5443-900, which 120 volts, 60 hertz. This has a 12 amp motor, which was the highest amperage you could go for household appliances back then. Bag type Y. There's your belt model number. Right down here is your serial number. For how to date these, the first 4 digits I could definitely tell you decode the month and the year, so 0299. So this was manufactured in February of 1999, which 99 really surprises me because the last one I had was a 2003. So these wind tunnels came out at the time when the Hoover Elites were at the end of their life, and Hoover was slowly transitioning into the modern bypass era of their lineup, which honestly definitely improved suction power, but unfortunately the cleaning performance for these is not as good compared to a direct air, I unfortunately have to say. Although the agitation of the brush roll definitely makes up for that. But you definitely have much stronger suction, I will say that. But the carpet cleaning performance is not as good as a direct air, and you can never top one because of that. The only upside you get, the one main upside you get with bypass motors is A, you do have much better suction, but 2, you have definitely sealed filtration, provided you could find good enough filters. Like I said, this one has a HEPA bag which you have a filter before the motor and after the motor. So you get much better filtration out of these bypass design machines compared to direct air, which the only direct air filter you can get on those was the bag itself. So anyway, back here is your cord. You also have 2 extension wands that come with the machine as well. Up top you have your cord release hook. Just pull that and you can definitely just pull the cord off. The cord is fairly long. Unfortunately, this example is not in the best shape as he's got some nicks and tears in the cord, which are definitely, you can tell it's covered by electrical tape, which eventually it's going to need a replacement cord because I cannot have vacuums that have torn power cords in my collection. But anyway, now enough of that. Let's go ahead and plug this thing in. And then I'll go ahead and turn this thing on and demo it for you guys. And so, here we go. vacuum runs exceptionally smooth. The one thing I do like about it is that this is the older version of the Windtunnel before the Hoover company was bought out by TTI, that Chinese company that now makes junk today. They still continued production of these old style wind tunnels, but what they did was change the design of the motor. So the later style of these old style Elites have that loud, screechy, high-pitched whining motor, which performs the same as these do, but these have honestly a much more pleasant and a little bit more quiet sound than the TTI counterparts. And honestly, this is a much better built machine, even though this thing is made in Mexico, which I honestly forgot to show you when I was showing the model number. Is that... So anyway, as you can see, well, actually, this thing, it was made in the USA. I'll be damned. But I would like to point out, when this company moved the manufacturing to TTI, those ones were made in Mexico. Which, before I end the video, we'll go ahead and show you the tools in action. So just going to turn this on. This is how long the hose is. It is not the longest, but look how powerful the suction is. It's so powerful I can actually, it's about to fall over. Extension wand, I like it that this thing comes with 2 extension wands. And last but not least, what's left of the dusting brush. Right. Yeah, because of how strong the hose is, because of how strong the suction is, but how short the hose is, sometimes like to pull the vacuum along, and like that, it kind of just pulls the vacuum down, which honestly, what pains me to say is the thing I don't like about this. But this thing has very respectable suction for even a bypass vacuum of its day. I've seen videos of YouTube user VacLab, guy's name by the name of Bill, who tested a Tempo wide path, which is essentially this exact vacuum. It's just lower end and not as feature rich. The thing pulled about 87 CFM at the cleaner head of airflow, that is. So that's just how powerful these things are. Well, actually, I would like to point out the one he tested was a TTI version, so I'm not too sure how that compares to the Maytag edition like this, but I imagine the performance is just about an equivalent. These are amazing machines, and honestly, in my opinion, the last good Hoover. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video on the Hoover Windtunnel Supreme. Be sure and stay tuned, and don't forget to like, rate, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.